because it's kind of like those tiny hand joke things. Like, I'm like, it's so cute. I wear jewelry that I can clip it to. You
I'm just gonna tie it on my shirt.
You don't have to.
Welcome. All right, so we're live on StreamYard.
This is Alex. He's a member here.
Oh, okay, cool. So, so we're live on Facebook then. Okay, we're live. We're just getting all the tech set up before I do the intro, and then just let me know when Instagram goes. All the pressure.
And now live.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So quiet. All right, well, I'm just going to start talking while Jeffrey. So thank you guys for being here. We're trying to, so we were doing these like luncheon, these lunch B2Bs for a while. And then some people were like, hey, can you do something in the morning? We've done some evening, like kind of happy hour ones too, but we're like, okay, we'll try it out, see how it goes, do some morning mixers. And so far the response has been pretty good. So Sarah's been gracious enough to host us. And I just love what you've done with Fuse and like the journey you've gone on and built this whole thing. I just think it's super awesome. So before we get into everything else we're going to talk about, can you just tell us a little bit about Fuse?
Yep.
And what you have going on here?
Yeah. So Fuse we've been open for about 9 months. So we're still very much young, but then also I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since we've opened. But the reason why we created Fuse is that we kind of come from the small business world. Is that I have a consulting business that a lot of my different clients, they always lacked space. So in creating Fuse is we wanted to have a space that really supported small businesses. So Fuse is a co-working and co-warehousing business. So you get to see the beautiful front end of the building with the nice lobby. We have the conference rooms. We have private offices, but we also have 20,000 square feet of warehouse space in the back that is rentable, divisible, and can meet our members' needs. So right now, all of our private offices have been booked for quite some time. And most of our members sign up for at least 12 months, but then we also can do for 6 months or a month-to-month thing to help the small businesses during their transition phases. So what we really like to do here is we like to build community. We really try to create the different networking and connections. I always love when I talk to someone that they're like, hey, I have this need. I'm like, oh, I got a guy or I got a gal for that. So a lot of our members here that they've gotten referred business from us, and many of the members here have gotten enough referrals that have been more than what they've paid in their monthly membership or their rent to us. So we say if you're a member at Fuse, it ends up igniting your business and doing great things here. So, but I've known Matt for a while, and I know that his focus with small businesses has been kind of the same type of passion and alignment. And we're very happy to host any networking groups. And if people, even one time we had someone that they were going to go have a meeting at another location, they're like, hey, the other place, they double booked the room. Can we get in there? I'm like, yeah, come on over. And we already had the room set up for them by the time they got here. So we're here to help support small businesses, and we can be flexible to make things work. So
it's Fuse Flex Space.
Fuse Flex Space. We do get people stopping and thinking that we're a gym because of flex, but nope. So we only had that happen like 6 times. It's okay.
Awesome.
So, well, we're happy to have you guys.
And thank you for the quiche. How awesome is the quiche?
Yes. So tomorrow's National Pizza Day. So if you're thinking if you're going to order pizza, tomorrow's the day to do it. And so I was thinking about doing lunch for the members here, but then when Matt reached out and was like, hey, what's a good date? I was like, oh, we can kind of pivot and change this. So I made the quiches mostly because of the fact that they're pizza shaped. So that's what I got to offer for this morning. So awesome. Yes, well, you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, I'm doing a little bit of multitasking running around, but thanks for having me.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me always at the front. I appreciate it. So,
well, let's give her a round of applause.
Thanks. Who am I passing the mini mic off to?
Actually, I'll hold it for a second. I have I just got an idea. All right. I don't know if this is going to work. Did you get Instagram up? Hey, Jeffrey, are we on Instagram too or no? We got it? All right, cool. So I just got an idea. they're just going to see my ugly mug for a few minutes and Dallin up here. But I think I'm going to have you guys go around and introduce yourselves really quick. Is that cool? And just say your name and business and like what you do. And at least it'll be on the mic, online, I guess, right? Like, you can't really spin the whole camera and everything around. So, Riley, can I pass this to you first? Okay. Actually, what if we have everybody come up front? That's no. All right. Well, I think sometimes it's good to step out of your. So we'll have everybody swing up front and introduce your business. Yeah. Here.
Business together. So we are Laser Marketing, or LZR, depends on how you read our logo, but Laser is how we pronounce it. We are a full service kind of boutique agency. It's just us two. My name is Riley.
I'm Liz.
And we pretty much do anything and everything. Our clients come to us with no brand, no website, no idea on how they want to do. They're like, we like these colors, create our brand for us. And then we have people who are super established and are like, hey, my web designer just quit on me. Can you make me a new website or can you take over? And if we can't do something, we know people who can. So yeah, full service agency.
Okay.
I don't know what else.
That's good. And I'll pass the mic around to people as we go. So Amy, can you just say your name and where you're from?
Amy from Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Gilbert, Arizona. And we are your premier spot for anything massage related and facial related.
Good morning. My name is Rachel. I own Illuminated Diamond Skin and Body Care, and I specialize in anti-age facials and the head spa. Yeah, the Japanese head spa.
My name is Larissa Taylor. I am a massage therapist. My business is Tailored Living Wellness, and I do therapeutic and medical massage, and I could take some insurances.
Hello, my name's Marissa, and I'm with the Wave Pilates and Wellness Studio. So we have reformer and mat classes. We also have yoga, bar, sound baths, red light therapy, kind of all the wellness things that you need to move your body in a conscientious way and build a community.
I'm coming up. You can sit there. If you don't work with Matt, you should. He is amazing and a good person. But I'm Jeffrey at the Assist Audio Video. It is outdoor speaker season, and it is time to enjoy your pool more. So if you want to learn more about that, give us a call or DM us.
You can come over there if it's better.
I'll show your face.
All right. Sure. Let's show my face. So thank you. My background is in point of sales. I'm from Romania over there. I started 20 years ago a company in point of sales. Over here in Arizona, where I live now, I'm launching a business with serving robots. You might have seen them in restaurants, but they work well in other places like senior living, warehouses, and other places where delivery robots can be used to make the people's jobs easier. So if you know somebody that manages a restaurant or any other place that might use some robotic helper, I can incentivize your lead.
And say your name and the name of the business?
Alex Lembrau, and the name of the business is Sedona Technology.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
And then Brianna, do you want to come up? Nothing like a little peer pressure.
Hi, everybody. My name's Brianna Berm. I own Berm Bookkeeping Solutions. We are local based out of Gilbert. However, we're virtual, so we can help across all state lines. And we primarily focus on service-based industries. We do everything from in-house bookkeeping to helping them with their DIY questions. And we're fully certified in QuickBooks Online. And our team is now moving into goal transitioning. So clients who come to us on a quarterly level, they will then be getting this new service of transparency with goals and how their profit and loss and their balance sheet and all of their financials are on track or not on track with those goals.
And Brianna does an awesome job.
Thank you.
My bookkeeper.
Yeah.
Pass that over to Jackie.
Oh, sorry.
Chalk there.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Jack. I am a personal trainer at Discover Strength in Gilbert, and we specialize in evidence-based resistance training, giving clients the most effective and efficient workouts in the shortest amount of time.
And where's Discover Strength?
Discover Strength is in Gilbert, in the Gilbert Civic Center.
Warner and Gilbert, right?
Warner and Gilbert.
Yeah,
That's right.
southeast corner.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Southeast corner.
All right,
Southeast
there we
corner.
go. All right, Robert.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Cherian, and I am a licensed insurance agent for Farmers Insurance. I provide insurance for families, individuals, and self-employed professionals for their insurance needs. And what we're focusing on lately is just really providing affordable health care for self-employed employees. So, if there's anybody who's kind of uncomfortable with that or maybe not familiar with that stuff for self-professionals, that's what we're here for, and we're going to guide you through that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And Dallin, you're up, man.
Okay.
So I'll say a couple words about Dallin, then have him introduce himself. So Dallin and I met, I don't know, like 2 years ago almost, something like that.
About 2 years ago.
And I was looking for a pool guy to advertise, and a lot of these, I would say a lot, and not everybody, but like a lot of the pool guys is like just this guy and a little truck, and it's just difficult to run a business that way sometimes. So I was looking for somebody that like had a business, right? And one of the things that impressed me about Dallin when I first talked to him, he's like, yeah, well, this is what I do, and I have my receptionist, and like this is kind of how we're set up and everything. And I could tell like he's doing some really cool stuff, growing and building his business, and it wasn't just him running everything. And that's fine. I think we all start off that way, but it's kind of cool when people have taken that like next step, right? So it was when I first met Dallin, but we're going to get into a bunch of questions here, but give us like 30-second about who you are first before we get into all that other stuff.
Yeah, so I'm Dallin, owner of Flamingo Pools. We primarily do swimming pool maintenance and repair, so just the weekly maintenance, making sure the pool is taken care of to keep it algae-free so you can swim all summer long, and then repairs, anything minor from little plumbing leak to pumps, filters, drain and acid wash, full equipment install. So yeah, it's kind of the basic of it.
Awesome. And always well branded too. You have everything you have. I started noticing, I'm like, all these different shirts, all these different things you wear is always Flamingo, which is cool. So
yeah, I figured like if I'm gonna rep the brand, I might as well make it fun and exciting to wear.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so some of us were here, gosh, like a month ago, right? We were out there and we were talking, and everybody introduced themselves and shared like a common challenge or a challenge. And there was a commonality, not among every single person, but a lot of people were having trouble managing their time and being able to figure out how to allocate their time. And I think over time, this is kind of becomes a challenge, either initially when you're first getting started or as you grow. And I was talking to a friend, and he recommended this book called Buy Back Your Time. So I'm like, okay, I read a lot, right? So I got this book, and I listened to it at first, and there was nothing new in this book. And I realized everything in this book I had done probably like 5 or 6 years ago to help us grow, and a lot of it I had kind of drifted away from. So everything in the book was a really, really good reminder. And one of the things in there, and I think it really comes down to execution, right? It's like, okay, here's all these great tips. A lot of them we've heard before. A lot of them we may have done in the past, but it's really about, are we executing them today, right? Maybe we did that before. Are we still doing that today? And then I had a really cool experience. I got introduced by a friend in Agritopia to this guy named Ron. And in Buy Back Your Time, they talk about, this guy, Dan Martell, he talks about building an empire. Like, if you really want to build a business, like you got to buy back your time to focus on the most important things so you can build this empire. And I would say I haven't met maybe a handful of like empire builders. And I had this really cool experience a few weeks ago where I met this guy, and he owns Aquatots and KTR, and he's kind of built like an empire of these Aquatots, and I think they're in 14 countries, which is kind of neat. And KTRs, and he's got like 200 locations, something like that. And now they're doing Cannon Beach. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cannon Beach and like Rebel Surf and all that kind of stuff over there. But as I was talking to him, I realized, and I don't know if you may actually watch this, I don't even know if I should say this, but he's like an amazing guy, but he's done all these things. Like everything that is in this book that Dan Martell talks about, like He's done it all, and that's how, he's built things. So I talked to Dallin about this, and Dallin's done some of the stuff, I think, pretty successfully too. And as a young business owner, so I wanted to kind of interview him for a few minutes and share some of these things. And I think it'll definitely help. I definitely think it'll help you guys. You may not hear anything new today. A lot of the stuff is probably going to be reminders of stuff you've already heard. But I think the question is, are we actually doing it, right? Like, are we doing these things? And you can't do all of it right up front, but maybe there's like one thing you hear today and you say, I'm going to implement this one thing. It might just be keeping track of your time. Like, that's something we'll talk about. But that's kind of why, I wanted to, or what I wanted to share today. So, and then at the end, does anybody read? So if I did a little giveaway for books, would anybody actually read them? Oh man. Okay. So we're gonna do at the end. If you guys have cards, obviously put your cards in something. We'll draw. I'm gonna give away these 3 books. But if you don't have a card, I'll have you write your name on a piece of paper or something like that. Okay. But don't let me forget that. Larissa, you're my don't let me forget to give away the books person. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So my old eyes, I can't see with my glasses on. All right. So Dallin, I'm going to have you just kind of start off by, I know you did your intro a second ago, but tell us a little bit about yourself and then what your business looks like today as far as employees and like revenue, if you want to share that. Like, what do you have going on right now with Flamingo?
Yeah. So I guess about myself.
Yeah.
So I'm married. We have 2 kids, 3-year-old, 1-year-old. So that keeps me busy outside of work whenever I'm not working. I have a lot of hobbies too. I love being active, training for a triathlon right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. Half Ironman. So
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, love being active. I play basketball. Try to go play a couple times a week. That's my favorite. That's like cheating for staying active for me. It doesn't feel like working out, but running definitely does. But yeah, so I love doing that. Love just hanging out with family and friends. Love music as well. Don't have as much time for it now, but love playing like the piano and guitar too. So that's like me and my free time. Oh, and I love cooking. I think that's my like latest hobby that I picked up is like I have a Traeger, a Blackstone, and just love cooking, baking, grilling. So that's kind of my latest thing I've gotten into. So that's super fun. And then on the business side, so I guess just like size and structure we're at 7 figures in revenue. We've been doing that pretty consistently now. In terms of the structure of the business, you have me, obviously, I'm the owner. I have my office manager who's like right below me. And then under her, we've got a couple different managers. So we have our service manager, and then we've got kind of fluctuates about 5 or 6 technicians under her, and then 2 repair technicians. And then we have a sales manager with, we're 1 short. We like to be at 3 sales guys right now. So we're looking, so if anyone knows a salesperson, we're looking for our 3rd sales guy right now because summer season is busy. So him with the 3 sales guys. And then we have a receptionist just to make sure like every phone call is answered, especially with leads. We want to make sure that we're getting back to people within 5 minutes or less. And then I have someone in billing that helps out with some bookkeeping, some accounts receivable, and some other finance stuff. And then someone in marketing as well. I am very involved in the marketing side of things still. That's like my passion and my favorite thing to do with the business. So I'm like the idea guy with the marketing, but then I have someone like boots on the ground implementer that posts all our stuff, edits all our content. And that's why if you wonder how I'm able to post multiple times a day on multiple accounts, it's not me doing it. I've got a team that's helping out with that. So yeah, that's kind of the structure of the team we got.
Nice. I think at least on some level, people tend to struggle with how to allocate their time, where to spend their time, how to figure out what will make the biggest impact both on their life and their business, right? Is that something like when you were first starting Flamingo, is that something you struggled with?
Not right at first, but actually like kind of in the middle. So I'm kind of in an interesting situation. Like I didn't love what I was doing. So when I started cleaning pools, I did it because I wanted to start a business and grow a business. I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's what kind of inspired me to start a business in the first place. So I was like, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to grow it. And then I just kind of picked pools as like my vehicle to get there. And so I didn't have like this passion for pools. And I know a lot of business owners that I talk to really love what they do. So like it's a lot harder for them to step out of that role because they really enjoy doing that. Where for me, it was kind of easy right at first. It was like, I need to get out of here as soon as possible. I'm so tired of waking up at 4 a.m. and cleaning pools in the summer all day. So
Right.
That part was like, to be completely honest, was pretty easy and motivating for me to get out of there. And that really like set me up for success because I was out of the field and I was able to just do all those other things. But where I think I made the mistake is then I started hiring other things and I was not being as productive with my time. Like I found myself just like sitting at a computer all day, which was not very exciting, not very fun. I felt like on one hand I was like, oh yeah, I'm like the business owner now, but it was like, oh, I'm not actually doing the most effective things with my time. So I didn't have like a clear plan for a little bit there, and it was a little muddy, and I wasn't growing as much as I'd like to.
So you had to put in some systems, right?
Yeah.
What's that? We're gonna have Q&A at the end. Yes, I want to make sure we're on time, but yes, we will have time for some questions. So you had to put in some systems or processes, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how, to make this more efficient, right? To make this all work. So what did you start doing from a system or process standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I realized that pretty early on that I needed that because when I hired my first technician, I went out, I trained them, told them everything they needed to do, and then if anyone's ever hired before, obviously it does not go as planned. It's like, what the heck? I just told you to do this, and you did the exact opposite of what I told you to do. So like, okay, these people need like a very clear and for a while, I know a lot of people do this, like they blame the employee or like, oh, there's no one good to work out there. And really like it comes down to us as the business owner. Most people fail because we don't set them up for success. And so I was like, okay, I need to have like a very simple like checklist system for them to complete this job. So I found like a software that made it very easy to like literally step by step. You have to check off every single thing that you do. And there's no, unless you're lying, there's no way to like miss it or mess up because you're just checking off everything. So turning an SOP for me into a checklist was like the game changer for me. And once I realized that on the technician side, I was like, oh, I need to do that with like every aspect of the business. So whether it's chasing overdue invoices, whether it's creating estimates, whether it's marketing, whether it's hiring employees or onboarding a customer, I need like a checklist for everything, so that way it's done the same every time and no steps are skipped. And it felt like a waste of time for a really long time when I hired a technician and I started like doing that and creating these SOPs, and I was the only one doing it. So like, why am I doing it? I'm like spending all this time like writing out these checklists, and they've obviously evolved over time. It was like, why am I doing this? But as soon as I started to grow more and hire people for that, it came in handy so much having the checklists. And then kind of the evolution of that now is creating videos for all of that. And so we have our checklist, and people learn differently. Like some people are very like, they want to read it, they want to check it off, and that's how they do it. And some people, they want to visualize it and see it. And some people, for me, like I like to have both. And so we've been going through and taking all our SOPs and turning them into videos. And that's been super helpful as well as creating those processes.
And SOP, standard operating procedure, right? If you haven't read the Checklist Manifesto, it's a great book and talks about this. And it really talks about two of the main examples were flight pilots and surgeons, and how both of those professions were very, very resistant to a checklist because these are high level, high skilled careers. And they were like they felt like, in general, that they were kind of above having the checklist to remind them of what they had to do. But once they started using checklists, things became much more efficient, much more safe in the operating room. And the whole book talks about that. It's a great book. I'm glad you mentioned that. So, okay. So you mentioned the videos, you mentioned some tech. What are you using now technology wise? Are you doing anything AI, to do this? I'm curious what you're using for video, for your training videos.
Yeah. So tech wise, I'm big on that. Like I've now and like previously, I've always spent so much time just like researching what sort of technology can I use to assist me. And I think that's been a big game changer for us as well, and helped us to grow faster and stand out. Obviously on like the actual scheduling dispatching side, I think it's huge to have like a software that you're using for that. Because like, let's say that with any industry, right? If there's a customer complaint, I want to be able to go back and I can see exactly what was done. I can see the pictures attached to it, or my manager can do that right too, right? And there's always proof that we've done work, when there's pictures, when it's all attached to technology, and that allows you to be more remote. Like I can be out of town and check in on my team and see what's been happening, and I don't have to like physically call someone, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Which is, I hate being like the helicopter guy, so I like being able to just go in and see that things are done, instead of like constantly following up people and asking about that. So that's been huge on like the scheduling and dispatching side of things. And I think most people have now like caught on to that and are doing that instead of pen and paper. But what's really helped us is having a separate sales and marketing CRM. to really help us track like all of our marketing efforts, all of our sales, just like having a pipeline to have, okay, here's all like the leads that we're working with and here's where they are, like what stage they're in the sales process. Without that, like things are just going to fall through the cracks, especially the busier you get. Like you're not going to remember every single person who's ever contacted you and where they're at. And also you're not going to have time to do follow-ups with all those people. So we've got a great CRM right now that not only helps us track and organize that, but it also automates a lot of that follow-up process. And there's still nothing that beats like picking up the phone and calling someone, right? But like you can't realistically call hundreds of people every day. So if we can have some text reminders and email reminders that go out between that, and then we can just follow up on the most valuable ones via phone call, that just saves our team like a ton of time. So that's been huge as well. And then I know you mentioned AI. I think I have like a love-hate relationship with AI.
Some of us do.
Yeah, I've experimented with like a lot of things with AI because I'm big on the tech side. So as soon as it came out, I was like, okay, how can I implement this in my business? I know a lot of people are pushing like the AI receptionist right now. I looked into it a little bit and I'm always trying to put myself in the customer's shoes. And there's nothing that pisses me off more than trying to call someone and I have like an AI robot trying to answer my question and it like will not let me talk to a human. And sometimes I just want to speak to somebody.
Right.
And so like, I'm not big on that. I think AI is great for like supporting what we do.
Kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, but not like replacing anyone on the team. Right. So I use it a lot for just like inspiration, even like with any aspect of the business, like marketing. Sometimes I need it to like spark an idea, or sometimes I have an idea and I'm like, can you just like refine this for me, right? It's good on both those things, but I don't like to just say, hey, like come up with a marketing strategy for me and have it do it all, because then it's like super generic. But it's great to assist us in what we're doing, but I don't want to let it like take over, if that makes sense.
I'm glad you said that. I've been on this kick. I don't know if you've seen any of my social media. Like I use AI in certain things. Like we have our AI headline generator and that kind of stuff and some other behind the scenes automations. But I really feel like the more things move towards AI, the more important it is to somewhat redefine AI as authentic interactions with people. And I think the tech has a certain place, but I also think it's important for us to remember, like, we're people, and I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. One other thing with that, like just the other day, I was trying to just connect with another business owner, and Instagram has created like where AI will respond for you. And I was like, I'm just trying to get a hold of a business owner. Can I please talk to them? And the AI just keeps responding for it. It's like, come on, like there's just something about a human to human connection that can't be replaced. Yeah.
Right. All right. So back to the hiring side of things.
Yeah.
When you started this, did you start it just by yourself, or do you have people when you start?
I started just by myself. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you make that first hire? Because I think I talked to a lot of people and they start off themselves. Like that's the way I started. Solopreneur, just starting my whole thing.
Right.
Who's that first hire? How did you go from like 1 to 2 to 3? How did you start that process?
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I think it's a little bit of a different situation than what I would recommend for most people.
Okay.
But for me, my first hire was a technician in the field, just because I was so I was so motivated to get out of the field and do all the other stuff. So, but in terms of like when I did that, for me it was like as soon as possible, as soon as I can like financially afford to pay someone, and then having like the confidence in myself that like, this is gonna like cut into all this money I'm making, but I'm gonna have time to grow the business. And I think that's where people don't think about that aspect. Like I can't hire because now I'm gonna lose all this money. But it's like that's a $15 to $25 an hour task that you're doing right there. And if you can spend that time doing sales and marketing, those are $50, $100, even more per hour tasks right there. So a lot of people, I just think they don't take that chance on themselves and bet on themselves that like, hey, if I can spend my time doing more valuable things, I'm actually going to make more money in the long run. There might be like a short-term loss in the money you're making, but if you train yourself properly and you focus your time productively, it'll work better for you in the long run. That being said, though, I think for most people, like hiring like an assistant / receptionist is a huge first hire for people, because it is like the cheapest thing that you can hire out. And so many people, their time is getting taken up by like just answering every phone call that comes through, whether that's like a current customer has an issue, whether that's like a new lead, because you want to make sure you answer every one of those phone calls. So that's just like slowing down your day so much.
Right.
And then you have to go home, you have to check all your emails, you have to create all your quotes. There's all this like little random admin work. And if you can like get an assistant that will do all that stuff for you, it's gonna free up so much of your time, and it's going to help you with things that you're not doing, things that you're procrastinating, because it kind of forces you. Like I know people are like delaying, updating your website, for example, right? It's like, I'll get to that later. But if you if you hire a receptionist and they're like, oh, you're like, I'm paying this person, they're just sitting here, like, I need to provide them with stuff to do.
Yeah,
And it
right.
kind of forces you to get some of that stuff done that you've been procrastinating.
Yeah, that's something in Buy Back Your Time. You know, one of the first hires that Dan Martell recommends is an assistant receptionist kind of person, depending on your business. But you're right, that can be scary because you're like, well, I'm barely making any money now. I'm just getting this thing started. How am I going to pay them? You got to realize that you're buying back your time,
right?
Which is a great segue to my next question. So, how did you figure out what you were spending your time doing? How did you know where you're spending your time? How did you figure out what that time was worth? Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was kind of doing this before, and then when I read Buy Back Your Time, it kind of like it was exactly what I was doing. So it was cool to kind of read that book and like affirm that I was doing this correctly, according to him, I guess. But I did a time audit where I basically took like every task that I did throughout the day, and I did that for like a week. And you mark each task with two things. One, you're tracking the value of that task. Like, is this a low value task? Can I hire this out for like fairly cheap, $10, $15 an hour, even less if it's like a virtual assistant, right? Or is this a high value task? Is this something that I would have to pay someone a lot of money to do, or that is generating a lot of revenue for the company? So that's the first thing you're tracking. So like a plus or minus next to the value. And I think a lot of people understand that, but I think what a lot of people forget is, and I love that Dan Martell talks about this, but it's the energy that it provides to you. So like, do I love doing this? Do I wake up like thinking about this? Is this the reason that I like got into business? And so those are all the things that you put a positive energy next to. For me, that's like anything related to marketing, and a lot of sales stuff too. And then the minus is like, this is the stuff that I absolutely like hate doing. These are the things that like keep me up at night in the business. Yeah, they drain my energy. I feel like absolutely done after doing this. Or you're just like not doing it at all. You're just procrastinating doing it because that's what you've experienced in the past. And so you put the plus or minus next to both of those things, and then that kind of gives you like a quadrant or like a matrix basically. And you have like your high energy, high value tasks, and those are obviously where you should be spending the most of your time. You've got like your high energy, low value tasks. You got your low energy, high value tasks, but then you have your low energy, low value tasks, and that just makes a lot of clarity around like, okay, these are the things I need to like bunch up and give to somebody else and hand off right away.
Yeah, I've kind of categorized those for myself into, is this something that I need to just eliminate from, like it just doesn't need to happen?
Right.
Or can I delegate this to somebody, or can I automate it? Or some of these things that I can use some tech to automate some of these processes. Right. And that's how we've done stuff. You review that from time to time to see where you're spending your time. Like, I knew you did that a while ago, but do you check in every 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah,
look at that again.
We're always growing, so I not like as intensive, but I'll do like a quarterly audit on myself and just see, just because as you continue, the cool thing about that is like right now a low value task or something that could be high value task for me, as I continue to grow, that'll become like lower value essentially. So just because I took everything out of that, like it's hard without a visual here, but like that low quadrant,
right?
Those are the low value tasks. You have things in this high value or low energy, high value tasks right now. Like, oh, I don't like doing this right now, but it's really good for the business and it helps the business grow. So I need to do this now. But as you continue to grow and your income increases and the revenue increases, you can now afford to hire those things out. So those now become low energy, low value tasks as well. And so as you continue to grow the business, you have more resources to hire out more and more things that are low energy for yourself. And it gets you to the point where you can just focus on the things that you love to do the most in the business.
That's awesome. All right, so I do want to leave in a Riley. I have you up for first question. Hopefully, do you forget it? No. Okay, good. So we have a few minutes left. I want to give a chance for questions, but any last tips or advice for maximizing your time? Anything else? Last thing you want to share?
I think we went over a lot of it. I think like the three biggest things for me is always like hiring, system or like automations, technology, and then SOPs, systems. Those are the three biggest things. Like hiring. We talked about like limiting beliefs. I think a lot of people, trying to figure out how to say this, are kind of prideful, and they think that nobody can do the job as good as them.
Right.
And like, yeah, I think it's true that nobody cares about your business as much as you, but I highly doubt that you are the best marketer and salesperson and technician and finance person and customer service person. Like, we're all so talented. Usually, like we specialize at one thing in particular, and we're actually like not letting our business live up to the full potential by not allowing other people to come in and do what they are best at and what they thrive in. So that's been a big thing for me, is like, I know that I'm not the best at most of these things. So I'm always looking for people who specialize and have a passion. Like, I hate anything that has to do with like finance stuff. So like, I will never touch that stuff right now. I mean, obviously to a certain extent I have to look into it as a business owner, but if I don't have to, I would rather find someone who like loves that and has a passion for that.
Like Brianna.
Exactly. Yeah. And let them like thrive. And same with customer service. Not that I'm bad at that or I hate that, but like, I want to give our customers the best experience possible. So I want to find someone who can like totally focus in on that and on our customers. So that way the business can, be the best it can be.
Yeah, that's great. It's great advice. I did one last quick question.
Yeah.
I've been using a thing called JumpShare and there's different tools for recording videos for my SOPs. What do you use to record the videos for your SOPs?
I've heard, is that the one that like creates the SOP for you afterwards?
No,
Okay,
I think
so
that's script.
Okay, yeah. So I heard of that one. I haven't used that one personally yet, but like you can basically do the task and it creates the SOP. For me, I have like a very set structure for our SOPs look like. So I just have that structure in place, and anytime we need a new SOP, it's pretty easy to create. But for recording it, it's pretty simple. I just use like Google Meet. And so I should mention this, I forgot. Anytime like an employee has a question on how to do something, like this would be for an office employee, instead of just like telling them over the phone how to do it, it takes extra time. Like, I will always jump on like a Google Meet with them and record it and show them how to do it. It takes me more time up front, but now they have that for the future. Every time they have questions about it, they can go back and do it.
You have a library.
Yeah. And so we just link that to the actual SOP doc, and everyone has
That's
that shared so they can go back and review that at any time.
It's good stuff. All right, Riley, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you for a question. And then I don't know, I think we have time for maybe like 2 or 3 questions.
I guess it's like, I know that you wanted to get out of the field, so maybe it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Where I would love to be like overseeing people in our business, and Liz would love to be just doing her thing in graphic design all the time. So we're kind of like, I'm like, but I want to hire more people, and she's like, I like doing the work, and I'm like, I don't love it. So we have like this nerve of like passing our business and our product and our baby essentially, right, off to have a different face of the company, because we pride ourselves on being like that boutique feel, and like you're talking directly to us and we're doing all the work. How would you like recommend people get over that and be able to like take that step? Like, right, we have a project manager, but she's on the back end, so our clients don't ever like see her.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you to like be able to be like, okay, you're going to be the face of the company, I'm going to be over here doing my thing now? Like, kind of how do you get over that, I guess?
Yeah. So I have a lot of thoughts on that. I love to talk like one-on-one with you a lot about that. But yeah, like in general, I would say you do get that right at first, because like even when I first started my company, like everyone was used to me being out in the field. I think it just comes down to trust. Like, you have to trust your people, and you have to get your customers to trust your people, and you do that by finding good people and also training them properly, because usually that fear comes from like, are they going to mess up, right? Are they going to do a poor job for my customers? But if you do everything in your power to like create those SOPs and train them properly and find the right people that you know are going to deliver for your clients, at the end of the day, I think we might value ourselves a little more than our customers do, in terms of like, we're the ones doing it, where what they want is like solutions and results more than like, and they're not to say that there isn't value in like that boutique feel. Like, people do really like that, and there is value in that still. But at the end of the day, most of us were offering a solution to a problem, and that's the most important thing to our customers. So as long as we can provide it, I don't think it matters as much to them like who's actually the one doing it.
Anybody else have any questions? Yeah. Okay. Paul, let me run back here with the mic.
I just have a quick question about that. Have you had a high turnover when it comes to like that low value, low energy kind of quadrant when you hire on? You said, oh, we got to find the right people.
Yeah.
Have you found turnover in that world at all?
In general, I used to have a lot. I've done a lot with the business to help with turnover in general, but like with anything, that's low energy for me, but I'm trying to find someone that it's high energy for them. So it's like, I hate checking email, but like someone might love sitting at, like a stay-at-home mom might love the opportunity to be able to work from home, work from their phone, work from their computer, make a little bit of extra money, answer some emails for me. Like, that could be great for them. So it's all about finding people that all these tasks are high energy, because like if I'm finding someone similar to me where they hate those tasks too, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of turnover there. So I think it's about finding people that thrive at that and enjoy doing that as well to avoid that.
What is the name of the software for checklists that you use?
So I just use Google Docs, and then I just create a checklist in there. And you mentioned it, the one that like creates it.
Yeah, I think that's Script.io. I think
Yeah.
that's the one I've seen. I use JumpShare to like record the videos. What? Scribe. That's
yeah,
great. Scribe. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, with Google Docs too, the nice thing is like I can just share that with everyone, so you can literally create a checklist where they can like click it off. But I've also been recommending to our team like, hey, take this, print it out, laminate it, and that way you can just like literally just mark it off every time you do it, erase it, and start over. That way you just have it there every time to actually physically mark through.
Nice. I like that. Any last questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, Dallin, thank you very much
Thanks for
for
having
sharing all this stuff. Can we give him a hand?
Thank you, guys.
All right. So I think we're in the live. So thank you for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time. I need like a better sign off.
Stroll.
Yeah. And so let me know when that's